security, kuiba ng'ombe, kuua wananchi, kuua watoto na kina mama itakoma kwa hii Kenya. Wacha nirudie, ndio wale wanaendesha hiyo biashara wasikie. Mimi nasimama hapa mbele yenu kuwaambia mambo ya wizi wa ng'ombe, mambo ya mauaji ya wananchi kiholela na wakora na watu wachache, hiyo biashara itakoma na sio tafadhali, itakoma. Umenielewa? Na tafadhali waambie wala wanaendesha hiyo biashara. Mimi nimesema leo nikiwa Turkana, watafute kazi ingine, na hatutaki mwananchi yeyote apoteze maisha yake kwa sababu ya ujinga ya wizi wa ng'ombe. We do not want. Nitaenda niseme hivyo Baringo, nitaenda niseme hivyo West Pokot, nitaenda niseme hivyo Samburu, kwa sababu hiyo biashara itakoma. It must stop. Na kama wale wanaendesha hiyo biashara wanataka kutujaribu, mimi ninawaambia watajua hawajui.
You know what? William Samoe Ruto has defined politics in this country differently. The political conversation has changed, words from his own mouth. You may like him or hate him, but the truth is that William Samoe Ruto is a different kind of animal. He has changed the politics from those of Jomo Kenyatta, from the politics of President Moi, to the politics of Mwai Kibaki. And in fact, I may say that he's also changed and redefined politics of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Is William Samoe Ruto the same guy we saw in the campaign trail? Is William Samoe Ruto going to change in the next few years, in 3 years, 2 years? Who exactly is William Samoe Ruto? And that's our question today. Welcome to Talk to Africa. You see, William Ruto has been talking about changing the conversation, but a lot of people are not taking him seriously. He said that the political conversation in this country will change, and indeed, it has changed. Politics is not those politics of those days, and William Samoe Ruto has basically been able to convince the majority of Kenyans, even in areas where actually he wasn't elected overwhelmingly. I have in mind Nyanza, to make people believe and think differently. And in fact, people are looking at politics in a different way, as in, what am I going to get from this thing? If I support you, what am I going to get? In this dispensation, what is my county going to get? What is my tribe going to get in this party? What is the development that we'll get by electing so and so? That is the conversation that William Samoe Ruto has changed. He's no longer talking about issues to do with human rights per se, although he is addressing them by actually disbanding, some unit in the police force that is actually accused for extrajudicial killing and doing certain changes in the police force and even in the judiciary. Something like the Hustlers Fund is one big step forward towards the change of politics in Kenya. But anyway, that is neither here nor there. My question today is, who is William Samoe Ruto? Raila Amollo Odinga, I would say, never took his time to learn William Samoe Ruto and to know exactly who William Samoe Ruto is. The other people who talk about in terms of knowing William Samoe Ruto are his newfound friends, including Rigathi Gachangua, Mudavadi, Wetangula, Ndindi Nyoro, Alice Wahome. These newfound friends of William Samoe Ruto, we all know. I think also they too do not know who William Samoe Ruto is, indeed. You see, somebody like Jirongo, who worked with William Samoe Ruto in YK92 those days, knows William Samoe Ruto also in a different way. If you look at the way William Samoe Ruto is looking at reform, both in terms of law reform and in terms of police reform, or rather, in terms of judicial reforms, in terms of law reforms, in terms of police reforms, in terms of his approach towards dealing with the issues of corruption. Although a lot of people who oppose William Samoe Ruto would say he's coming in with his own excess bargaining. But the truth is, action speaks louder than words. And William Samoe Ruto, despite the fact that people claim that he's been involved in DPP issues of withdrawing cases in court, William Samoe Ruto is also at least then assuring the judiciary and the police to operate independently, without even receiving calls from the office of the president. So William Samoe Ruto may not be the William Samoe Ruto of the Lang'ata grounds in as far as that action is concerned. And he will not probably be defined by what we know about William Samoe Ruto, because his actions actually are different from what he's doing. If you look at the way William Samoe Ruto is letting the civil service play out professionally, the way he's letting Parliament play out the interviews, although for me, I think some of them are really stage managed, but it's a big step forward. And now people are able to see the role of Parliament clearly. They're able to question certain moves. And even William Samoe Ruto has surrounded himself with basically economists and bankers, and even given the positions in government, hoping that they will be able to fulfill his mandate and what he actually promised the people. And that is what leads us even more to the question of who exactly is William Samoe Ruto? How will he be?
I'm using my networking, and I want to appeal to our regional members of parliament. We build friendship so that we all, without minding his party, we make sure that our community, our region, is represented in Iyala, and therefore we are supporting Honorable Justice Kizito Mukale of ODM. We are in UDA.
Arguing on the basis of your friends, because they say, show me your friends and I will tell you who you are. Let's look at Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta himself got elected courtesy William Samoe Ruto and the support that William Samoe Ruto had given him. And Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, by the way, was not even able to deal with William Samoe Ruto. And William Samoe Ruto actually, arguably, we can say that he actually won against an incumbent. Because when you look at Raila Amollo Odinga and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Raila Amollo Odinga was like the incumbent. And William Samoe Ruto, without using certain methods, and in fact using the politics of development, the hustler narrative, William Samoe Ruto was able to become the Republic of Kenya. Is he exactly? I really want to hear your comment on who William Samoe Ruto is. Is he a dictator? Is he a Democrat? What is he exactly? As in terms of how come William Samoe Ruto fought so hard with Raila Amollo Odinga, and it's the same William Samoe Ruto who has guaranteed the people of Nyanza development and an equal opportunity in his government. In fact, when you look at some of these debates, like the extension of the presidential limits in Kenya, you look at the debate like that one in adding of, you look at the recent debate of increasing the number of counties in Kenya, and looking at the fact that these debates have been brought by people who are not in the mainstream UDA or in the mainstream Kenya Kwanza. They are members of parliament in the periphery, but in UDA still, whom I believe have not just brought those debates as a matter of their own personal interest, but they must have somewhere along the line, either directly or indirectly or in a discussion, had a chat with William Samoe Ruto, and maybe they've read the thinking of William Samoe Ruto, and they are of the opinion that William Samoe Ruto would really be happy to have this kind of debate in parliament, as in extending the term of the presidential term from 2 terms to maybe more, 3 or more, or something like that. Those people who actually jumped aboard Kenya Kwanza or their UDA, their affiliate parties, thinking that William Samoe Ruto is going to entertain corruption will be in for a rude shock of their life. Those people who basically thought that William Samoe Ruto is not going to deal with corruption will equally be shocked when all is said and done, looking at it like 3 years down the road. So William Samoe Ruto, in our view, will actually unwind himself as things happen in the next 3 years. We'll probably know a little bit more about William Samoe Ruto than we know today, and even his own friends, both in politics and outside, will really know William Samoe Ruto differently. Even if you look at the character of William Samoe Ruto, look at the way even he parades. It might be a small thing, but look at the way William Samoe Ruto actually inspects his guard of honor. He gives me the impression like he really wants things to run straight. He's a serious president. He's a no-nonsense person. He's not laughing every other time, but he really is focused on the things that he's doing, and he's working pretty hard to make sure that he delivers on what he had promised. Who is William Samoe Ruto? Our take is that William Samoe Ruto will actually be unwind himself as we go along. We'll get to know who William Samoe Ruto really is, because you cannot rely on the sentiments of certain politicians out in the campaign trail, and you cannot rely on even those newfound friends in Kenya Kwanza as in defining William Samoe Ruto, because the sword will also cut their direction. Would highly appreciate to hear your comments. Thank you very much for tuning in. Welcome to Talk to Africa. My name is Joe.